What if the most important discovery in human history is happening right now, and nobody is telling us the truth? We know that the odds of an interstellar object perfectly matching our solar system's plane are less than 1 in 500. But what's happening right now defies even those odds. There is an object from deep space designated 3I Atlas that is currently doing something that, well, it should be impossible. Its tail is pointing toward the solar center, breaking every law of physics we know, and now NASA has activated planetary defense protocols for the first time ever for an interstellar visitor. Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard isn't just speculating anymore. He's saying it outright. This could be alien technology. On October 29th, when this object hits perihelion, we might finally get the truth. But here's the part. No one is talking about, while this is all happening, space agencies around the world are grabbing data and staying completely silent. Why? Let's really dig in and understand why this is so disturbing. Normal comets are simple. The solar center hits the icy nucleus. Material evaporates. The solar wind then pushes this material away from the solar center, forming the tail. It's basic physics, stuff we've known for centuries. But 3I Atlas was doing the exact opposite. Its tail was pointing toward the solar center, as if it was being pushed against the solar wind. That's like seeing a car driving forward, but the exhaust smoke is pouring out the front bumper. It makes no sense. This isn't just a minor anomaly, it's a fundamental contradiction. This behavior forces us to question our most basic models of astrophysics. If it's not the solar wind, what force is acting on it? Is it magnetism? Is it a previously unknown particle interaction? Or is the force not natural? This is the central mystery. Professor Avi Loeb was deeply intrigued and tried to explain this in 2 separate scientific papers, but he had to admit it's not a simple explanation because we don't even know if there's dust around this object. 2 scientific papers, and one of the world's top astronomers still couldn't explain it. Then in September, something even more extraordinary happened. The tail, it just reversed. Out of nowhere. Within days, it began behaving like a normal tail, pointing away from the solar center, as if someone had just flipped a switch and changed the operating mode. This is perhaps the most compelling piece of unnatural evidence. Natural phenomena don't just stop. They don't change their fundamental properties overnight. A comet's composition doesn't instantly re-engineer itself. This switch implies a mechanism, an internal change, which is profoundly difficult to explain with natural geology. Images from the Nordic Optical Telescope documented this impossible transition. You can see the evolution, an anti-tail in July, persisting in August, and then suddenly, bam, turning into a normal tail in September. But the story gets even more frightening when we look at the numbers. Avi Loeb calculated something that completely changed our perspective on this object. He declared, even more alarming is its size. The fact that it's at least 1,000, maybe even 1 million times more massive than previous interstellar objects, the first and second ones. To put this in perspective, Oumuamua was about 328 feet long. 3I Atlas is kilometers in length. We are talking miles long. It's like comparing an ant to an elephant. We are not talking about a small difference. It's a difference that screams something is fundamentally wrong here. And when the James Webb Telescope analyzed its composition, the results were bizarre. 87% carbon dioxide, 9% carbon monoxide, and only 4% water. This is the chemical smoking gun. Typical comets are mainly water ice with dust. They are dirty snowballs, as scientists usually say. But this looks more like the composition of a chemical propulsion system than a natural comet. That specific ratio of CO2 and CO is highly unusual for a natural body, but very common in certain types of advanced rocketry or industrial processing. It's not just odd, it's engineered. Here comes the part that should make all of us lose sleep. Avi Loeb identified a specific moment that could change human history. He explained, this is the best point to have a maneuver. To use an engine that would give impulse to the object in the direction of its movement. In this case, it would gain kinetic energy or do the reverse. In this case, the object would brake and maybe even release some mini probes toward the planets if it's technological. October 29th, perihelion, the closest point to the solar center. If this object contains alien technology, this is the exact moment an advanced civilization would use to perform gravitational maneuvers. And here's the most disturbing part. At this exact moment, the object is in our blind spot, hidden behind the solar center. We can't observe it from Earth. What convenient timing for a craft that doesn't want to be observed during critical maneuvers. If 3I Atlas accelerates, decelerates, or releases smaller objects on October 29th, we'll only find out weeks later when it emerges from the other side of the solar center. This object's trajectory defies all statistical probabilities. Avi Loeb made an observation that should put us all on alert. He said, the most intriguing aspect of this object is that its trajectory is in the plane of the planets, and it's coming quite close to 3 planets, Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. And this suggests perhaps it has some purpose. Purpose. He used the word purpose. Let's break down the sheer impossibility of this. The probability of a random object from interstellar space just happening to follow exactly the ecliptic plane where all our planets orbit is already 1 in 500, but passing close to 3 specific planets, Mars, where we have rovers and orbiters, Venus, our closest neighbor, Jupiter, the gas giant that dominates the outer solar system, the odds become astronomically remote. This isn't just a flyby, it's a tour. It's exactly the route a reconnaissance mission would follow, visiting the strategic points of interest in our solar system. And here, the situation becomes truly sinister when you have potential evidence of the most important discovery in human history. What do? You share it with the world, right? Wrong. Apparently you hide everything. Avi Loeb is being blocked from accessing crucial data. He revealed, we're still waiting for the high-resolution camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter because of the NASA shutdown. We haven't had access to this data. It should be the best resolution image, 3 times better in pixel resolution than the Hubble Space Telescope image we had. A government shutdown for Comet data. Scientific data doesn't stop for political issues. Never. Unless this data is considered too sensitive for public release. And there's more. For the first time in history, NASA activated planetary defense protocols for an interstellar object. Think about that. These protocols were created for asteroids on a collision course with Earth. 3I Atlas is leaving the solar system. Why activate planetary defense for something that poses no impact risk? The answer is obvious. They're not worried about collision. They're worried about what this object might do. Avi Loeb isn't just theorizing. He's actively looking for evidence of alien technology and has access to the equipment to do it. He revealed, we have the Juno spacecraft that I spoke with, the principal investigator of Juno, Scott Bolton, and he told me they'll use their radio antenna to also look for any radio emission from this object. And of course, if we detect any, that would be a technological signature as well. The Juno spacecraft, positioned near Jupiter, is literally pointing its antennas at 3I Atlas, looking for transmissions, looking for signs that this is a machine transmitting data. Imagine the implications if they detect something. If this object is sending information somewhere in interstellar space, information about what? About us? About our solar system? About our technology? And where would these transmissions be going? To whom? The International Asteroid Warning Network also launched an unprecedented campaign. Avi Loeb explained it will establish a campaign coordinating observations from around the globe, trying to get as much data as possible about the movement of this object. Observatories worldwide have been mobilized, global astronomical resources redirected. This has never happened for an interstellar object. Never. When you analyze the complete temporal sequence, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. July 2025. 3I Atlas develops an impossible antitail pointing toward the solar center. It contradicts all known physical laws. August. The antitail persists. Scientists try to explain. They fail. September. Abrupt transition. The tail reverses instantly as if a system had been activated. October. The object enters the solar blind spot. Perfect timing to avoid observation. October 29th. Perihelion. The theoretically ideal moment for gravitational maneuvers. November divided by December. Emergence from the blind spot. The moment of truth. December 19th. Maximum approach to Earth. Each event happens at the exact moment an alien reconnaissance mission would execute. The precision is frightening. And during this entire period, worldwide space agencies have intensified monitoring but maintained total silence about their discoveries. China, the United States, Europe, Japan, all collecting data, all silent. Avi Loeb identified December as the period that could define humanity's future. He declared, during December, on December 19th, it will come closest to Earth, and this will be 1 week before Christmas. We could receive the gift of seeing the best image of it from Earth. December 19th, 1 week before Christmas. What kind of gift would that be? Confirmation that we are not alone in the universe. Here's what makes December so crucial. Any activity 3I Atlas executes during October's perihelion will only be detectable when it emerges from the solar blind spot in December. If the object accelerates, decelerates, changes trajectory, or releases smaller objects in October, we will only find out in December. It's like watching a movie 2 months late. But a movie that could change human history. Imagine the scenario. Christmas Eve, families gathered, and suddenly NASA makes an announcement. We confirm technological activity in the 3I Atlas object. We are not alone. It would be the biggest plot twist in human history. So let's recap the accumulating evidence. 1. Impossible physical behavior. An antitail contradicting basic laws of physics. 2. Abrupt change. An instantaneous behavioral transition like a system activation. 3. Anomalous size, potentially 1 million times larger than non-interstellar objects. 4. Suspicious composition, a chemistry more compatible with propulsion than a natural comet. 5. A planned trajectory, a statistically impossible route visiting strategic points in our system. 6. Perfect timing, entry into a blind spot at the ideal moment for unobserved maneuvers. 7. Protocol activation. The first time in history planetary defense has been activated for an interstellar object. 8. Data restriction. An unprecedented blocking of scientific information. 9. An active signal search. Top-level efforts to detect technological transmissions. 10. Global mobilization. An unprecedented international coordination of observatories. Individually, maybe you could try to find a convoluted natural explanation for each piece of evidence. But altogether, the probabilities become infinitesimally small. This is the core of scientific reasoning. When the natural explanation requires more belief than the extraordinary one, it's time to reconsider the extraordinary. The data is pointing in one direction. If Avi Loeb is correct, if 3I Atlas is really extraterrestrial technology, the implications are monumental. First, confirmation of intelligent life beyond Earth. Humanity's most fundamental question, finally answered. Second, evidence of technology capable of interstellar travel, a civilization with unimaginable technological capabilities. Third, they found us. We weren't the ones who made first contact. They came to us. Fourth, they are studying us. The trajectory suggests a reconnaissance mission, a collection of data about our solar system. And fifth, they may be reporting back. If we detect transmissions, it means they are sending information about us somewhere. This would change philosophy, religion, science, politics, everything. Our entire perception of our place in the universe would be fundamentally altered. We would no longer be the peak of intelligence, but perhaps just one node in a vast ancient galactic network. And maybe that's exactly why the data is being restricted. Maybe authorities are trying to understand the implications before revealing this to the world, trying to manage the inevitable panic and societal upheaval. Avi Loeb is risking everything to tell us this. His academic reputation, his position at Harvard, his standing in the scientific community. He declared, "We would like to know as much as possible about its future path, about the nature of the material coming out of it. It's the beauty of doing science." But doing real science means being willing to consider uncomfortable possibilities. And few scientists have the courage to speak publicly about alien life. Loeb has that courage, and is coordinating independent observations because he doesn't trust that official agencies will be transparent. Two possibilities exist. Either we are witnessing the most statistically impossible natural phenomenon in the history of astronomy, or we have detected our first evidence of extraterrestrial technology visiting our solar system. NASA has activated protocols never used before. Worldwide agencies have mobilized unprecedented resources. Data is being restricted. Scientists are actively looking for signs of alien technology. On October 29th, 3I Atlas reaches perihelion. If it's a spacecraft, that's when it will make its maneuvers. In December, we'll discover if we are alone in the universe, or if we never were. The answer is coming, and it might just arrive as a Christmas gift that changes everything. Keep your eyes on the sky. History is being written. The great lesson here isn't just about aliens. It's about the vital importance of scientific curiosity and transparency. Professor Loeb is showing us that true science means following the data, no matter how uncomfortable the conclusion. It means questioning the official narrative, especially when the data is being hidden. We, the public, have a right to know what's happening in our own solar system. This is a developing story, and the implications are staggering. What do you think? Is this a natural one in a trillion phenomenon? Or is the evidence for a technological origin simply too overwhelming to ignore? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this story and other mysteries of the cosmos, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next.